What's up everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a question that I get asked a ton, and that is, should you go with a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA, and why? And actually what I'm going to do for this video is I'm just going to answer questions that were sent to me throughout the past, and I hope that those answers will help everybody else in the questions that you may have as well. Alright, so let's get started. So first off, what is an IRA? An IRA is an individual retirement account, and this is something that you participate in outside of your employer plan. And you may be asking yourself, well, why would I want to do that? Well, there's several reasons. First of all, not everybody's employer offers them a retirement account, so this is something that you need to set up yourself. Second of all, the employer offered plan may suck. I'm just going to say it just like that, because they may not offer any type of match, and also their fees might be high, and the options of what you can invest in may also be horrible. So those are reasons why you would want to set up an IRA plan outside of your employer. The next question is, so what is the biggest difference? So the biggest difference is going to be, one is you pay the taxes now, and one is you pay the taxes later. So the Roth IRA is something that you're going to pay the taxes on right now, and you're going to go ahead and get those out of the way. That is why I choose to invest in a Roth, because I never want to have to worry about the taxes again. The other one is a traditional IRA, and with a traditional IRA, you get those tax deferred. So you're actually not going to worry about those taxes again until you go to retire, and you're going to pay the tax on them when you withdraw the money. That's not something that I want to deal with, so I choose to go with the Roth and pay all of my taxes right now. Also, I want to go ahead and pay the taxes now because I believe that in the future taxes would be much higher. Remember, our country is in a ton of debt. We have a lot of debt we have to pay back, and I believe that the only way to do that is through taxation, and that's something that we're going to have to do well into the future, and I think taxes will keep rising as we become a more socialist country. Not saying we're going to become socialist, but we become more and more socialized every year if you watch the trend. So I think that taxes will go up in order to have to pay for that and for us to pay our debts back. So I'm going to go ahead and pay the taxes now when I believe they will be lower. What is the max amount you can contribute? Great question. So the max amount you can contribute is $6,000 per individual. Unless you have a spouse, then you can contribute up to $14,000 for both. And what I mean by that is, careful, let me explain that a little bit better. So it's $6,000 per individual still, but if you have a spouse, you can contribute for them as well if they're not working or contributing themselves. But you have to have at least that much income. So if you've only made $4,000 for the year, you can only contribute $4,000. If you made $12,000, you contribute the whole $12,000. Now it is up to $14,000 or $1,000 more per individual if you're doing the catch-up plan if you're over 50 years old. That allows you to contribute an extra $1,000 per year, and again, they call that the catch-up plan. Are there income restrictions? Yes, there is. In fact, the Roth is the only one that is income restricted, and the income limit is $137,000 if you're an individual and $206,000 if you're a couple. That is based off your MAGI, or your modified adjusted gross income. And you need to speak with your accountant if you think you're getting close to those numbers, because there is a phase out period. So that's the cutoff period, the numbers I mentioned, but there is a phase out period where you can only contribute up to a certain amount once you reach a certain number. Can you still contribute if you have surpassed the income limit? Yes, to the traditional, because there is no income limit, but there's a thing called the Backdoor Roth. I need to do a whole video on this, but basically that is when you just convert the traditional to a Roth, and that gets around the rules of not being able to contribute to the Roth if your income is too high. Again, that is called a backdoor Roth. Where should you set up an IRA? So my favorite is Vanguard, but other brokers offer this as well, like Fidelity. But I like to go with Vanguard. I've had nothing but good experiences with them. They're excellent in customer service, and they've just been super easy to work with. I like their online portal. I like everything about them, even their phone app. So I go with Vanguard for my brokerage for our IRAs. What if my employer offers a retirement plan, but I also want to contribute to an IRA? Well, that's fine. You can do both. Remember, your employer plan is up to about $18,500 or $19,000, which does not penalize you for the $6,000 that you can still contribute to your IRA. And look, this is kind of how I would do it. Now, you don't have to stick with my plan. Again, I'm not an FA, I'm not a financial advisor, but this is how I would do it if I also had an employer contribution plan. I would get the free money. And what I mean by free money is when your employer will match your contribution. So that's usually through a 401k, and they will match up to a certain percentage that you put in. And that's what we call free money. And you always want to take that, because it's really hard to find free money in that 100% ROI on your investment where it's free money and they're just giving it to you. So always take the match first. Then, unless their plan is good, unless your employer plan is good, I would take the match and then I would switch over to my IRA and I would max that IRA out first. That's $6,000. And then I would come back to my employer plan and contribute to that. That's how I would do it. That way you get the free money and you get the better options inside of your IRA plan. It's kind of the best of both worlds. And then if you want to contribute even more because you're trying to max out your retirement, you can always come back to your employer plan and max that out as well. And that's a ton of money stacked towards retirement every year. And remember, this is a numbers game. It's off compound interest and time. So what you want to do is get as much money into these retirement accounts as possible. Now, you don't want to spend all your money there, so you don't have any money in savings and you can't pay your bills. But any extra money that you can see go in there that will not be detrimental to you now, you want to stack in these retirement accounts. And something fun you can always do is just go online and do a compound interest calculator and calculate how much you plan to put in each year, for how long it will be in there, and then do the multiple at like 8%, which is an average ROI for the stock market. It's actually a little bit conservative. I do mine based off 6% because I want to be super conservative, and it's just fun to see what you could have at age 60 when you go to retire. The actual official age is 59 and a half, but just put in 60 for easy numbers and just see what you could have in there if you were consistent in contributing with your money. All right, so to recap one more time, just off the importance off here, the difference between the Roth IRA and the traditional is when you pay your taxes and the income limits. So the traditional, there is no income limits and you pay your taxes later. The Roth, there is income limits and you pay your taxes now. But again, you always have that backdoor Roth, which I'll do a video again on later. All right, guys, I hope this video helps and helps explain to you on the difference between the two and which one you should possibly go with. Everybody's scenario is different. I prefer the Roth, and I think that most people should go that way because, again, I think taxes will be higher, but you never know. Figure out which one works best for you. And again, it's more important that you're contributing and not which one you're contributing to. So don't get all tied up in the lingo and don't contribute because it's confusing. Just make sure you start contributing to these retirement plans. That's it for this video. I hope it helps you. If it did, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so I can share this message with more people. And next week's vlog, I think, is going to be a coming soon of a before and after house that was really terrible and now it looks outstanding. And I can't wait to show that to you guys. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.